talk about is applying for the contractor license board. I've said a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to say it again real quick. The statistics show that only below 10% pass the state contractor's license test on the first attempt, but that's okay. You can come back and take it again. We talked about the application, and that if you've got a criminal record of any kind, when you write down your criminal record of any kind, they will let you have anything on your record and still give you a contractor's license as long as you don't lie about it. If you lie about it, you can be basically blackballed forever. They will reject your application, and they will never let you apply again. And yes, sir. Okay, so the question was, do you have to be a citizen? I'm not dead sure, but I believe you have to be a citizen of the United States to apply for a contractor's license. So our one student that asked the question is going to look that up by calling the board and asking them, right? Cool. Okay, so we have a volunteer to look that up, or call the board up and ask them if you have to be a citizen, because I don't know that definitively, but I believe you do. So let's talk about filling out the application. Another thing you have to do is you have to do a live scan or life scan fingerprint. You have to take that in. I think you do that after you do the test. You have to have a bond, and for first timers, all the bond companies want to get you in, because once you start with a bond company, generally speaking, you'll stay with them. So they have a some bond companies have a really inexpensive first timer bond rate of like less than $125 for the first year. So look for that. Let's see. Let me talk about experience real quick. The Contractor's License Board expects you to have 4 years as a verified journeyman in your field. And conversely, they will take some partial credit for education time. Like if you did the electrical program here, that's 2 years of becoming an electrician, they will count either 1 or 2 years towards your experience time towards your contractor's license for your education. It's up to them to get how much they'll give you. All the other experience has to be as a journeyman in the field. And working on your house might count for a little bit of time, but they're not going to let that count for years or even a year. So any kind of experience that's not working for someone else as a paid journeyman, they're going to want to have some kind of proof that you were working as a journeyman. Okay, I don't think I said that before, but you've got to have 4 years of experience in the last 10 years. It's not 4 years total in the last 25. It's 4 years in the last 10, which for some people that becomes a problem. All right, the syllabus continued is class rules from the state, board rules, things like that, discipline policy, things like that. And now let's take a look at the textbook. Hopefully this thing's going to come up without a problem. Right here it is, California Contractors License Law and Reference Book. It's available from NexusLexis. The NexusLexis or the State Contractors License Board email address or website is right there. So if you copy that shortcut and then go to someplace else on another tab and paste that in, it'll take you to the State Contractors License Board website, which we wanted to go to anyway because we want to talk about the application and the experience letter. As I said, before you come in next week, I want you to print out the application and the experience form, and even if you have to create a fictional history, I want you to fill out the forms and bring them in. Also, on our website, a very handy-dandy thing is there, a video on helping you fill out the forms.
Okay, so next week on Friday?
Next week on Friday, I want you to bring the application from the state. Bring the application from the state. Okay. Oh, I just got to go back here. And fill it out. Even if it's fictional, I want you to fill it out. It's practice on filling out the forms. Absolutely. Do it as professionally and neatly and honestly as you can and still meet their expectations. Okay. Let's go down, and you'll notice that right down here, and we talked about doing the Moodle orientation, or we didn't talk about that, but if you don't use Moodle, if you've never used Moodle before, you can do an online or in-person Moodle orientation. This is my introduction. You don't have to listen to that, certainly. There's the student honesty policy, and you've all agreed to a higher standard than that. The syllabus, the textbook. Okay, and let's go down to the OSHA standards are online. You can see those. Go to LexisNexis, purchase the book. The Cslb website, we're already there. And let's go down to topic 1, filling out the application. Go to the website. There's a link to it. Okay. There's a video on helping you fill out the application. It's right there. Click on it. The video will run. It's from YouTube. If you want to go directly to YouTube, that's fine. This one talks about LLC or S corporation. I know you all think you want to be LLCs. Probably you don't. What you don't know about being an LLC is there are special taxes you pay as an LLC that don't apply anywhere else. Okay. The most common thing is to operate, one of the most common things is for contractors to go out and contract without a license or to use somebody else's license number. In other words, contract under somebody else's name. Both are illegal and they both are criminal acts. There are some videos in here of people getting arrested, yes, with little silver bracelets and everything, at gunpoint. Yes, they really do that. And they have sting operations about 4 times a year here in the state of California where they go out and go after people that are trying to operate without a contractor's license. So I don't care if you've never heard of that ever happening to anybody. If you do it and keep doing it, there's a good chance they'll catch you at it and make you really sorry that you've done that. So my advice is don't do that. Okay, sting operation is a video of one of them. Unlicensed contractor arrested at gunpoint, Bakersfield sting, more sting operations. And then if you're having somebody do work on your home or something, there's a video on how to check their license. Because they might have a license, maybe it expired 10 years ago. When you go to sue them, if their license expired 10 years ago, collecting is going to be kind of difficult, right? They'll just disappear into the vapor. Okay? Let me tell you something about contracting without a license. You give up, when you do that, you give up your lien rights. We'll talk about lien law later, one of the most important things in the world, because lien means you can take the person's property, their land, to make sure that you get paid. And you lose your lien rights when you operate without a contract license. And a lot of times, if you go into court suing to get your money that you should have gotten as a contractor, even though you don't have a contract license, yeah, some people really do that. Many judges will say, the first thing out of their mouth will be, what is your contractor's license number? And when you say, oh, I don't have one, they'll say, case dismissed, see you later. So you might have worked all that work and put in all that material for free. So watch out for that. And here's where you can find the application. Just click on this and it'll pull it up. Small claims limits. Now, if you're a small-time contractor, having the availability of small claims court is a very big advantage. It means that you can sue quickly for up to a certain amount. And I want to tell you there's 2 limits. There's the private person limit, And there's the business limit. The business limit is lower than the private person limit. And one of the things you want to look up before I see you again, and no, I'm not going to tell you, is what is the small claims limit for private persons and for businesses in your local court. In your local court. Then we're going to need to know the kinds of bonds. We're going to discuss that several times. The kinds of bonds, the first one you have to have is a contractor's bond, fairly reasonably priced one, but there are other kinds of bonds, some you want to have and some you never want to have. Okay? That's kind of the list of things I wanted to talk about tonight, but I'm going to grab my book and we're talking about it a little more, but for the moment, we're going to take a coffee break. I'm shy. California Contractor's License Reference Book is available from LexisNexis. If you get it from them, it will have a disc in the back, and it's the whole code book, so you can turn it into a computer file. LexisNexis. There's a link on the Moodle website to go to LexisNexis and find the book. And they have it in the bookstore. And actually, for once, the bookstore is not exorbitant. They're actually fairly reasonable. Okay. Yeah, not often does that happen, but that's okay. We've talked about the license board itself, membership terms and renewal. I don't want to talk about, but I want you to look it up. What does it mean to be a member of the State Contractors License Board? Write that down. What does it mean to be a member of the State Contractors License Board? How is that board made up? Who can be on that board? Can you be on that board? No, it's not. No, it's not. When do they meet? What does it mean to be a member of the Contractor State License Board? Member of the board, what does that mean? What is the board's powers and duties? What are their powers and duties? The board, Contractor State License Board, that's a group of people, right? Okay. I wouldn't go that far. What is the Registrar of Contractors? Who is the Registrar of Contractors? I want you to find out who specifically, right now, this second, is the Registrar of Contractors in the state of California. I want you to find out who that is and what that means to be the Registrar.
So who is the registrar and what it means?
What are his duties as the Registrar? In other words, who is he and what are his duties?
That's the whole thing.
That's, yes. Application for the contractor's license. You know that we're going to print out the application and the experience letter, and we're going to fill that out before next week, and you're going to bring it with you next week, right?
Yeah.
Now, even if it's fictionalized a little bit, bring it anyway, okay? And I'm going to be the board, and I'm going to look at your applications. Yes, sir. You may, off the State Contractors License Board website. And there's a link on the Moodle website to go to. You can get to, from Moodle, you can get to the State Contractors License Board. There's a link on there. Yes, there is.
You want these questions answered and sent in the same day?
Yes, next week. Okay. Application. What is a contractor? You know what that is. What is a specialty contractor? What are the subcontractors? There's a list in the book of what kind of contractors there are. What's the highest level of contractor there is? No. What is an A contractor? What is a B contractor? What is a C contractor? Write that down. What is an A contractor? What's a B contractor? What's a C contractor? What does that mean? What are they? What is an A contractor? What is a B contractor? What does it mean to be a C contractor? Look it up. It tells you in the book. What are those are classifications, A, B, and C. Okay. Just look up and find out what is the definition of a B and a C contractor. A, B, and a C. Okay. Let's see. Exemptions. Certain groups of people are specifically exempted from the contractor's license law. They're representatives of the federal government. The government always exempts themselves from everything. Like, for instance, the federal government does not fall under OSHA regulations because they're the federal government. The We Say So company, okay? Officers of a court acting within the scope of their offices, public utilities engaged in work incidental and supplemental to their own business, owner and tenant under lease engagement, engaged in petroleum or gas operations, and owner of property who builds or improves structures on it or additions to it, who does this work themselves for themselves, basically. So the owner builder is exempt, right? You don't have to have a contractor's license to build your own property. You still have to pull permits, but you don't have to have a contractor's license. And that can count as your experience as a general contractor. Yes, sir. Wait a minute. Wait. All right. Who else is exempt? Manufacturers of mobile homes and their accessory buildings or structures where they are not built on the site where they will be installed and lived in. In other words, when those mobile or modular homes are built at a factory, that is not contractors that are doing the work. Yes? Whoops. Those who sell or install finished products, materials, or articles of merchandise which do not become a fixed part of the structure. Material persons or manufacturers furnishing finished products, material, or articles of merchandise who do not install or contract for the installation of such items. And those who construct, alter, improve, or repair personal property, except that installations of mobile homes and their accessory buildings and structures are not exempt. Another one, those who engage in construction, alteration, improvement, or repair on federal property don't need a contractor's license. If you're on federal property, you may not need a contractor's license. Those who can contract for minor work whose value is under $500 total. That's material, labor, profit, everything. So you can do work under $500, but you cannot do 3 different $500 projects on one property. That is scamming the rules, and you're going to get popped. Don't do that. Okay? Those who engage in the construction and repair of irrigation districts and reclamation districts, in other words, water districts, are exempt. Licensed architects and registered civil or professional engineers acting solely in their professional capacities are exempt. And employees who have wages as their sole compensation. So if you're just an employee doing work for someone else, you don't necessarily need a contractor's license. If you're just an employee of a homeowner and he's improving his home, no contractor's license is required. So there are some exemptions. Penalties and rights. A licensee is required for any person engaged in the business of acting in the capacity of a contractor. If you give any kind of a bid, fixed price, maximum price, any kind of a bid at all, you're a contractor. You better have a contractor's license. If it's $500.01, you better have a contractor's license. Advertising. If you advertise for construction and you don't have a contractor's license, big penalties. We'll talk about the amounts later. Contracting without a license. Second, we're going to talk about the penalties for all that later. It's under what I call the numbers. Let's skip forward. I'm going to tell you what the classifications are anyway. The first one is general engineering contractor. That's an A. A B is a general building contractor. General building contractor is a B. And specialty contractors are C contractors. And then there are subcontractors below that, specialty contractors. Very minor specialty contractors. Okay?
General building contractor?
General building contractor is the second type.
Okay, what is the contractor and the contractor B and what is general building, right?
Okay, somewhere on the website, there's what I call a by the numbers section, and it has penalties and things like that and deadlines. and you need to look that over. Okay, go find that and look it over. Penalties and deadlines. There's a whole spreadsheet of penalties and deadlines. Look them over. Okay, now I'm going to stop for the evening on that, unless, wait a minute, I think I'm done. No, one more thing I need you to look up. What does it cost to get your first contractor's license? The fees are listed in the first section of the book. So find out what it costs to get your first contractor's license. There are several different fees you have to pay. One is your application fee. Oh, yeah. You got a bunch of questions. Okay. Huh? No, you're writing them down. If you didn't write them down, you better find somebody who has them written down.